welcome to episode 211 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for people who play the game Magic the Gathering. Whether you're sitting at home jamming some arena, you're playing over at your friend's place, or you're heading out to an FNM or a GP, we're here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria, and I'm home jamming arena as I record this.
My name is Meghan, and I'm at home jamming arena the rest of the time.
Yeah, like I'm transmitting my bodily functions, and this is a robot I've put in the office.
Oh, well, creepy.
The future, dreams of the future. On today's show, I just got back from Grand Prix Oakland, so we're going to talk about Modern on the show today.
Are you at your house?
Yes.
And you're transmitting this voice?
Yes.
It syncs up very well.
I know, it's almost instantaneous, and all of these motions and everything too, I'm transmitting,
Wow.
which is more complicated, but...
Why would you not just be here at that point?
Because I'm jamming arena!
But you're using your hands so much. I don't see you using a mouse right now.
Well, I'm hiding the mouse activity, but transmitting other activity.
So your robot has a hide mouse activity function?
hide mouse function.
Oh.
People could use this at the office.
They really
Think
could.
of all the implications. It'll be going wide for public release in 2020. I've got to work out a few bugs.
Spooky. I'm spooked.
I scoop. Oh, see? I wasn't going to say that, but I said it in arena. That's how it works.
Spooky.
So yeah, Grand Prix Oakland happened.
Yes.
We'll give you the rundown about that later in the show. Some Modern action. Grant, we've got the news that you can use, as we always do.
The news for yous.
For yous and the who's.
That's right.
From Whoville.
Plus, we're in the thick of Ravnica Allegiance previews right now. So we're going to talk about some of the sick cards.
And, by the way, we have our own preview card to show you all.
We sure do.
I'm so excited.
And then we're going to go back to Modern and be like, what is happening there?
I know, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these cards, I look at them and I think, Modern implications? Well, not a lot of them, but a couple of them.
Wow.
From the previews. You know what I mean?
Well, there you go.
But before we get into our show, we're going to thank you, everybody who supports us on patreon.com/GLHFmagic. It's January. It's time to turn over a new leaf, even though there's no leaves outside to turn over.
That's right. But if you're somewhere that still has leaves, either on the ground or on trees, just go find one, flip it over.
Flip it.
Be like, well, things are different now.
Did it. I sure did it. And if you don't have any leaves, you could turn over a new snowball. And support us on Patreon this year if you haven't become a member yet. It means a whole lot to us, and it really helps keep the show going, keeps our lives going, literally, and shows that you want more from us in 2019.
Yes. Thank you as well to our sponsors, Card Kingdom. Card Kingdom, they sent us socks with our faces on them for Christmas.
Did. Look at these.
What more could you ask for from a sponsor?
Look at these. They're great. They're our faces with tacos.
They're literally, it's our faces and tacos on a pair of socks.
What? I don't know what else you want in life.
I literally can't believe this.
This is the greatest present. Card Kingdom is awesome.
The nicest thing. So, go. You can't purchase socks with our faces on them from them, but you can get lots of great magic stuff from them.
Absolutely.
And so we say you should go on over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on over there, cardkingdom.com, and use our affiliate link. So use cardkingdom.com/GLHF. Whenever you want to buy something from them, say you want a GLHF sticker in your order, and they'll put one in.
And you'll put one.
They'll put one.
They'll put one.
They'll put 10 Bs.
They will put 10 Bs.
That is
Throwback.
a joke from a million episodes ago.
That's like 6 years ago, almost.
That's really weird to think about.
The card Derek Holler of Bees.
Eric Holler of Bees.
Eric Holler of Bees.
Yeah, we made a planeswalker.
His ultimate was put 10 Bs.
It's a great ultimate. I don't think Wizards has surpassed that ultimate yet.
No, not yet.
That we've created. But, there's still time. It's time for some magical news. First news item, while Meghan eats a bagel, is Grand Prix Oakland happened last weekend.
It sure did.
I was in the booth with Reed, the Duke, and we were talking about Modern because that's what was happening. So the big story coming out of the weekend, if you want to know which decks kind of surpassed the rest, can be told by taking a look at the top 8.
Well, I already know. Is it Phoenix 1?
Yes.
quote unquote.
Yes, there was a news alert. There was a concession in the finals, which was very shocking to all of us. But the reason for it was Ely Cassis, which was one of our finalists, locked Platinum up with a win of this tournament. And the opponent, Hunter Cochran, needed to make a flight home for a very important meeting. And so I guess, they had just agreed on a prize.
It was a very important meeting on Sunday night.
I don't know. Maybe he needed to sleep in time for Monday morning.
Important meeting. Maybe so.
I don't know.
Either way, he's been doing well enough for himself, too.
Yeah, he has. He's been doing really well at tournaments lately. And they'd probably agreed on some kind of split anyway. So they just decided to concede, which is a big bummer for anybody watching it.
Yeah,
but understandable for the players.
You know what? Okay, so he's on Is It Phoenix.
Yes.
I see that.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that there were 2 other copies of Is It Phoenix in the top 8.
Okay, this is the question. But no, there were not. He was the only one.
He was the only one. Okay.
But it was a popular deck and a super fun deck to watch on camera, too. Yeah. I really like Is It Phoenix. There's 4 copies of one deck in the top 8. What do you think it was?
Was it Ironworks combo?
Yes, it was. Krark-Clan Ironworks made up 4 copies in our top 8.
With none other than Matt Nass.
Well, Matt Nass, of course,
obviously,
is one of the 4.
I don't know why I didn't know
this guy
that.
is unstoppable. He's won 2 Grand Prix with the deck and got pretty close to winning a 3rd. He has, by the way, after this weekend,
has he only won 2?
Yeah. Only.
Okay, keep going.
And his win percentage with this deck, what do you think it is? Not counting buys, this is matches played in Grand Prix.
70%.
After this past weekend, 85%.
Oh my God.
Isn't that insane?
That is.
Like, that's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
We were trying to think of somebody else who has a deck that is as, successful and is as successful with that deck as Matt Nass, and we could not think of anybody who we think has that percentage.
With any deck at all.
Any deck ever.
There
were some contenders, but that was the final consensus from coverage, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then we have Hardened Scales Affinity.
Hardened Scales Affinity in the top 8, which is kind of neat. That deck's kind of wild.
Yeah, Sam Black on KCI.
Yep, that makes sense.
White Blue Control.
Yeah, but there you go, Megan.
Titan Shift.
There you go.
Sick. I like it.
There's Hunter.
Hunter Cochran.
KCI.
Stephen Hacker.
KCI. Yep.
Well, okay.
But I've got...
Do you know what? So far...
I'm correct in my bet.
Yes. Although I will point out that your bet only included this year, and there has, in fact, at the end of last year, been a modern GP since you made that prediction that did not have KCI.
I meant 2019. 2019.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was a close call. I'm glad we got it out of the way in 2018 because
here we are.
If you don't know, my prediction was that there would be KCI in every single top 8 of modern GPs in 2019, and that it would win 2 of those events. Which, if they had played it out, maybe it would have done.
Yeah, that's true.
I would already have 1 under my hat.
Yeah,
but there's of
this
course
does not count as a win.
No, it doesn't. I'm not going to count it. But I'm getting a little nervous because KCI did maybe what we would quote too well in this tournament, and I'm a little worried that it's going to get banned, and my prediction will go out the window. Megan doesn't seem to think that's going to happen. She's still eating her bagel, so I'll still talk about it. If you want my personal feelings on this, I don't like bans, okay? They're really bad. It's much preferable to have a format kind of self-correct and have people pack appropriate sideboard hate for a deck. However, I do think KCI is resilient enough, and sideboard's only able to carry like 4 at max of a card to be able to deal with something, and then draw it in that game is actually kind of hard. Maybe we'll have more than 4 that's flexible and you can bring in against other decks or something like Natural State. But I am somebody in the world who is in favor of an Ancient Stirrings ban.
Do you know what? I'm just saying, it just makes me mad. Because when you have something like, there were times that humans had multiple copies in the top 8.
Yes.
There were times that Death Shadow Aggro had multiple copies in the top 8.
Yes.
Topping out at stuff like 4.
Yes.
And no one ever talks about banning cards from those decks.
No.
At least not with the kind of discussion that they do about a combo deck. And I just think it's, for me, some people are like, oh, it's because combo is unfun to play against. But it's like, if that's a person's way that they enjoy playing Magic, just because you don't like playing against it doesn't mean that you get to call for a ban on that deck. If you think that a deck is oppressive when it's 4 copies in the top 8, then I think that you have to think that across the board. Like if humans has 4 copies in the top 8, you need to be a person who's like, okay, 4 copies is oppressive, ban something from humans.
I think that this is more than that, though. For me personally, this isn't like, oh, I'm bored with it or whatever. But just because I think that an Ancient Stirrings ban would make Modern better.
But I also think that like in my opinion, a ban of Ether Vial would make Modern better. Right? Because you're coming at it from like what do you enjoy playing against?
Yeah.
I hate playing against humans. I hated playing against Death Shadow aggro.
But don't you think there's enough tools for those decks versus something like KCI?
Like nothing. I'm just saying that like back when those decks were at their peak is what I'm saying. Right? Is those had so many copies in the top 8.
Yeah.
And those felt like oppressive decks. It felt like you would go to tournaments and you would play Death Shadow aggro all the time. But the format eventually corrected itself, and people weren't like, "Oh my God, you need to ban Death Shadow." I mean, some people were, but not to the fever pitch that people say it about stuff like KCI.
No.
So it just makes me mad that people hate on combo decks because it's like, do you know what? That's some people's flavor of Magic, and I don't know that it's necessarily fair to call for a ban and say that that deck's oppressive when it's doing well in the format if you don't also look at stuff at like humans at its peak and say humans was oppressive when it was at its peak in the format.
Can I make one more argument that I think people would make, which is that I think KCI has the ability to win on turn 3 of the game, and I think that is a little too consistent and a little too good at doing that.
People have said that Modern should be a turn 3 format though.
Yeah, they have.
Like humans would essentially win on turn 3.
Yeah, I guess it can. I don't know. Yeah, this has been a discussion on social media. A lot of the pros don't believe that KCI should be banned. A lot of other people think that it should be, or whatever. Ancient Stirrings taken out of the format, which I think is the real crux of the issue here, that people are calling for, because banning a deck outright I think feels terrible, and that's a real feel bad moment for players who have invested time and energy in this.
If you ban Ancient Stirrings, though, you also get rid of Tron.
Well, this was a discussion too that we brought up. I was talking to Brian David Marshall, Pro Tour historian, about this weekend, and this is something that comes up, and people talk about the Ancient Stirring bans all the time. And he said, "Here's the thing." He was in favor of it, and he said, People are like, "Oh, it'll kill Tron." Well, here's the thing: I was around because I'm an ancient crab when Tron. Just kidding. He didn't say that. When Tron didn't have access to Sylvan Scrying, when it didn't have access to Ancient Stirrings, and when it didn't have access to Expedition Map, and a lot of people still played it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that is true. Maybe it'll just be fine, but a little less powerful. The same way that Infect kind of happened, but people still play it today.
I think if a ban comes down, my guess is that it's going to be KCI and not Ancient Stirrings.
Yeah, it could be. It definitely could be. In the end, though, I don't think they're going to do anything. Honestly, I think they're just going to leave it. I
mean, I would like to see, because KCI, it feels cyclical. Also, like it had its peak kind of in the middle of last year, and then it did taper off from Modern events in the later half of last year. And like, yeah, this is a resurgence, but like also at Vegas last year, it looked like Tron had a resurgence. It had something like 4 copies in the top 8. But then you don't see any Tron at all right now.
No.
So part of me also just feels like this is kind of the way that Modern goes. I would kind of like to see an unbanning instead to try and shake it up.
Ooh, what do you want to see unbanned?
Ooh,
Stoneforge Mystic?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, we are the new arbiters of what happens in Modern.
Yeah. And
Stoneforge Mystic is coming back. What about, what am I thinking of?
The one I was thinking of was
There's
Splinter Twin.
Splinter Twin, yes, that's what I was thinking of. Splinter Twin.
There are still people who are mad that it was banned in the first place.
Free Twin. We saw that a lot in chat this weekend. Anyway, we went very deep on this. But
yeah, we did. We could have talked about this in our section about Modern.
Yes, but there's other things to talk
about it.
There's other things
because people say the same thing when they get so mad about playing against control decks, and they're like, it takes so long to win. Guess what? That's the way some people like to play Magic. Just like some people like to play Goblin Chain Whirler. I will hate on them all day, but at the same time, I'm not going to be like, no, Goblin Chain Whirler should be banned.
I mean, right. I detest playing against control decks, but you know what? I don't say you can't play that. Like, that's completely fair. Play it your way, like our blue-white control player in the top 8, Yeah. And actually, I do think, I'm going too deep on this, but I do think blue-white control was a fabulous choice for Alex Olsen at the tournament this weekend, particularly with how much KCI there is running around, because that deck can beat KCI.
Well, there you go.
Anyway, that was only one of our 3 news items.
Wow, it was.
But I'm going to tease a cool deck that I want to talk about in the modern section coming up that we saw. That was really fun. Okay, news item number 2. Oh, we have our GP schedule for 2019.
We do?
That was released.
Get to Party Town.
And, by the way, there's sponsors for GPs now. And the first one that happened was GP Oakland, Channel Fireball. It was sponsored by Adult Swim's show Tigtone. And there was... I don't know what it is, okay? I have no idea what Tigtone is. But apparently it's a new show on Adult Swim. And there was Tigtone playmats that you got for playing in the event, plus like a normal Raul Zarek playmat. And there was like Tigtone banners and stuff up. And it was just the point where it was almost laughable because Tigtone sounds like such a dumb...
It's a very weird name.
And I'm sure for the show it makes sense or whatever because it's Adult Swim. But the playmats were in such heavy supply that one person even made a cape out of Tigtone playmats and a staff and like armor and was walking around wearing them. It was just kind of funny. That being said, I do think it is... I think it's good that we're getting corporate sponsors for stuff in Magic. Maybe in the future getting ones that, I don't know, that seem like it makes more sense, like Red Bull or I don't know what. But anyway, it was funny to be there for the first one. Of course you
would say Red Bull.
I would say Red Bull. I need that energy to hit that spacebar in Arena. You know what I mean? Boom. Gotta get a new keyboard.
Do you know any of the upcoming sponsors?
No, that's the only one that was announced. But for whatever reason, it was quite funny. And I hope it would be also funny to have like Little Debbie sponsor a Magic tournament. I'd also be on board for that.
Yeah, I would be too.
Okay, so have you found it? I also have it here on my phone.
The schedule?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so coming up, the next Magic Fest, sorry, I called it a Grand Prix. The terminology here, Magic Fest is the larger event and the Grand Prix is the main event within the Magic Fest.
Yes, we've had the first 3 months out for a while.
Yes. So coming up next, we've got Sao Paulo Modern, April 20th, Niagara Falls, U.S. side, Legacy.
Ooh.
With
Niagara Falls,
U.S. side. Legacy. April 20th,
wow.
Yokohama is Modern. April 27th in London is Limited, which will be around the Mythic Championship there. May 11th in Madison, Limited. All right, let's go. I want to play.
Oh, so the Magic Fest is at the same time as the Mythic Championship.
Yes. So that'll be the one weird combo one, the first time they do that.
Very cool.
Within the new system.
Well then.
Oh my gosh, how do I say this? Kita Kyushu is Limited on May 18th. May 25th is Providence Team Limited. Got to get the Gnarlid pack back together for that. June 1st, Kansas City is Standard. June 8th in Taipei is Standard. June 15th in DC is Limited. June 15th in Copenhagen is Limited. June 22nd in Seattle is Limited. And June 29th in Dallas is Modern. So I guess this isn't the whole year, but do we have the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Oh, the whole...
Not the formats, but...
The whole thing. Okay, so we know
all
where.
All of them. All of the places. Oh, the places you can go to play in a Magic Fest.
These are, by the way, have different amounts of prize money up for grabs.
You mean each one is different?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, some of them have, like, in Sao Paulo for Modern is $35,000, so that is the lowest, along with Kansas City and Taipei. And then there's $80,000 for London for Limited, which might be because that's at the same time as the Mythic Championship.
Weird.
I don't understand the system that they've used here to decide these things, but...
Me neither.
It's kind of weird. This past weekend, it was a difference in prize payout. First place got $7,000 at this tournament where it's normally $10,000, but they paid out lower. They paid out down to 110th place.
Okay.
So that was a change.
Well,
there you go.
Life is getting strange.
Getting?
Life is strange.
Life continues to be strange.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, I hope we get to go out and play some of these.
Same.
Yeah, that would be really fun. But anyway, yeah, there you go. Plan your life. GP's coming up.
Magic Fest.
Magic Fest. Gosh, dang it. Okay.
Okay.
Third piece of news, which had a lot of people talking on social media the other day, is lifetime ban was handed down to Alex Bertoncini and a handful of other people. New DCI ban list came out. Yeah. And this person is a known cheater in the community. And
yes. He was last year, he came off of his most recent 4-year ban.
Yeah.
And people were like, why don't you just ban him for life?
Yeah.
No one wants to play against him.
No.
Because you feel like you have to watch him like a freaking hawk.
Ugh, and that is not
and that's
fair.
only if you know, right? There's so many people who show up at things like Magic Fests and they're not going to know Alex Bertoncini is something you have to watch like a hawk. And so there's some speculation about whether he was caught or if it was like a deeper investigation again. But someone said that he apparently, what did you say, got a hardened scales off of an ancient stirrings.
Yes.
Which cannot happen.
No.
That's not a thing you can do.
And that is
that is not allowed.
That is not, that's also just such an obvious cheat.
Exactly. If you have been playing Magic for 12 years, which is at least how long he's been playing it, because he's had, there were 2 8-year bans in there somewhere. So I guess maybe he hasn't been playing, quote unquote, playing Magic that long, because a lot of it he has been unallowed.
I don't know about you, but Hardened Scales is a card that looks pretty green to me.
Yes, not colorless, which is what you may get off of an Ancient Stirrings.
Yeah. So however it happened, he has now had a lifetime ban.
Yes.
And I've got to say, I approve. I think that it's a huge undue burden on his opponent at any tournament. And I do believe in second chances, but with him at this point, it was like a fourth chance.
It was like a fourth chance. He ruined his second and third.
Yes. Yes.
Now his fourth?
Four strikes, you're out. He would argue the number of chances, but I wouldn't.
No. Well, there you go.
So there you go. All right, everybody, it's time for a Good Luck High Five preview card from Ravnica Allegiance.
That's right. You know, Maria, sometimes I look across the table and I'm like, gosh, I wish my opponent's creatures were just smaller. If they can't just not be there, I guess making them smaller will do.
You know, Megan, sometimes I'm playing a match and I look down at my own creatures and I wish these creatures were bigger, you know?
That's so like you.
It really is.
It really is. Well, guess what?
What?
You can have both.
What?
You can have both.
I can live in a world where I can make my own creatures bigger and yours smaller at the same time.
That's right. I can live in a world where I'm making my creatures bigger, if I'm bothering to have any, and your creatures smaller.
No way.
Yes, way.
And what about other abilities?
Well, listen here. What if I told you that you could exile creatures from graveyards and make little ghosts?
Ooh, that sounds like something I would be interested
We call them
in.
spirits in Magic, but look, ghosts?
Little ghosts.
Little ghosts.
I would be into that for sure.
Then let me tell you about a card.
Because I'm going to make bigger ghosts thanks to my plus ability on this card.
That's true.
Ooh.
And if my opponent tries to make little ghosts, they will simply go ghosts away.
They'll be out of luck. How much would you pay for such a card?
You know, about 6 mana.
Okay. And which guild do you think this goes in?
Ooh. Well, the little ghosts made me think that it's Orzhov.
I'm going to give you a clue. It rhymes with Borzov.
Is it Orzhov?
You nailed it. So
Ethereal Absolution.
Yeah, that's the name of the card.
The name of today's card. It costs 4 white, black. It is an enchantment. Maria, what does it say?
All right. Well, it's a rare. Creatures you control get +1/+1.
Nice.
I love it. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1.
Goodbye, little ghosts.
And you can pay 2 white, black, and it says exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. If it was a creature card, you create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying.
Nice.
And this is a great flavor
Little
text
ghosts.
as well from Kaya to Teysa, by the way. Time to let the dead be dead.
Which is her thing.
Yeah.
She's a ghost assassin. And do you know what? That seems a little counterintuitive for the Orzhov, who are a lot of ghosts.
I mean, if you've already mastered assassinating people who are alive, why not move on to the next big challenge?
Yes.
Dead people.
This card seems super sweet.
Yeah.
This is a nice rare.
I love it. For limited, obviously, it's super, super fun. You get to make ghosts as the game goes late. Sorry, spirits.
Ghosts.
If the game goes later, you get to just get value, incidental value by exiling their creatures and making spirits and making them 2/2 flyers, which is awesome.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Especially if you're facing up against another Orzhov player. It's like, my ghosts are big and your ghosts don't exist.
Yeah.
Your ghosts have been assassinated.
And it's a lot of mana, but this is a super powerful effect that I think is worth it in limited.
Yes, it's an anthem. It's like an anthem and reverse anthem effect.
Yeah.
And like you said, you get to use this ability later on in the game, which is really nice. It's a good late game card. And at least what I remember from the last Ravnica block is that the Orzhov like that late game.
Absolutely.
You would if you're a ghost.
Yeah.
You got the late game locked up as a ghost.
And
You're
you're
like,
already
I'm a
going to have
ghost.
spirits running around just incidentally already in your deck if you're building it right. So your spirits are going to be 2/2 flyers, and that's going to be very hard for your opponent to
Nice.
deal with for sure. Let's just talk quickly about standard and constructed applications. Too expensive for standard?
I think it's probably too expensive for standard.
Yeah, I agree.
That being said, maybe there's a nice brawl deck out there for this that's
Ooh,
got
yes,
some of these nice.
absolutely.
Right, we've got a whole swath of black-white cards coming in. Or I'm thinking Arena Singleton format.
Oh, yeah.
We are huge fans of Arena
I
Singleton.
love
And
Singleton.
we said, and I can see myself building like a really sick black-white Afterlife deck.
Oh, absolutely.
That has this at the top end.
That'd be so fun. Yeah, so I think Commander players will like this card. It does seem very Commander when I look at it.
Yes.
So
That's, it's all creatures all of your opponents control.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
To just like shrink everything down on the
Everything.
table. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so there you go. Ethereal Absolution, your preview card for Ravnica Allegiance. I think it's pretty sweet. Let's talk about more Ravnica Allegiance cards.
That's right. Specifically, I want to talk about the Cult Guild Mage of Rakdos.
Yeah.
Who has a tiny Jace puppet.
This art is excellent.
It's like a jester hat wearing carnival
love it.
gent with
I
a
love
little Jace puppet
So
below.
cute.
And some little marionette wires.
I love it so much. Oh, Cult Guild Mage, you're great.
Yes, and this is of the Guild Mage cycle. So of course we had one for each of the guilds in the last set. And we'll have one coming up. So this Cult Guild Mage, Maria, you're Rakdos. Why don't you tell us what it
I
does?
would love to. Well, of course, it's a 2/2 for a red-black mana. Its abilities are 3 and a black tap. Target player discards a card. Activate this ability at sorcery speed. Red tap. Cult Guild Mage deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker.
Wow, that's a nice one.
I love it.
Just ping.
That bottom ability for a single
Ping,
red
ping,
is
ping.
great.
Yeah.
It makes combat terrible for your opponent, and you can just kill them slowly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
For a mana. 1 mana. That's a deal.
Let me tell you about something that I like.
Ooh, let's hear.
Senate Guild Mage.
Ooh, it's your Guild
White
Mage.
blue for a 2/2 human wizard. White tap, you gain 2 life.
Oh, God.
Blue tap, draw a card, then discard a
What?
card.
You're looting?
Nice.
All right.
I like it.
This seems right up your alley.
Oh, yeah, it sure is. Do you know what was also a surprise?
What?
For all of us, we talked about this on stream last week, but we haven't talked about it on the show yet.
Oh, okay.
Dovin Bond is in charge of the Azorius,
Yes.
which means that they are Bolus aligned.
That's so weird.
Why? Why Bolus? Why Azorius?
Maybe it's just Dovin, though. Maybe he's making Azorius do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Dovin is a bad dude.
Yeah, just like from the inside out.
Yes.
The flavor text on Azorius Locket is especially creepy.
Ooh, we have to find it now.
Yeah, go find Azorius Locket, which, by the way, all the Locket
You
art
go find Azorius.
is really cool in this set. The Gruul Locket is just like an animal's skull, like opened up. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I think Dovin Bond is like, it's kind of a situation like Ministry of Magic corruption situation.
Yeah.
You know, where
He's the Umbrage.
yeah, he's the Umbrage, and he is controlling everybody or whatever.
Oh my goodness. Mandatory lockets enable the tracking of all Senate personnel for improved security and efficiency.
Yeah. Dovin.
That's a bad dude.
That's
Never
bad.
let anyone tell you that you should just allow them to track you.
Great
That's-
advice.
That's my advice for today.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
It'll probably come up at some point in your life.
Yeah, and when it does,
don't
just be
do
like,
it.
don't.
No, I won't. Anyway, yeah. So Azorius, I'm interested to see what happens if like they fight back from the inside against Dovin, or if they just like go along with
Or
what
if they
he
just
says.
go along with it because
Yeah.
they're like, he's in charge and we follow the people who are in charge.
Because we're Azorius. Yeah, I don't know.
Like we said, it's been a little while. We haven't talked about Hydroid Crassus either.
Oh, it's so great.
It is a jellyfish hydro beast.
I mean, what
which
more
is
do you want?
Which is just the best.
The creature types in this set are amazing.
It's just the best.
X green blue for a 0/0 mythic. When you cast this spell, you gain half X life and draw half X cards, rounded down each time. It has flying and trample. It enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters.
I love it. Also, this flavor text is some of my favorites so far.
it's so
also,
great.
Havoc is a small price to pay for data.
Yeah, excellent.
Oh, so good.
The names in this set, the creature types, and the flavor text, by the way, are out of this
They're
world.
all so good.
Big thumbs up to whoever is working on this stuff.
Yes. Oh, we have to talk about our buddy, our poor buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Humongulous
Comes out. I love this card because it's 2/5 hexproof.
Yes.
But
also, look at this art. Maria, how is this not already the cutest card?
it is so sad,
It's
though.
so cute. That's what makes it cute.
It's 4 and a blue, and it's just like a giant homunculus, with one big eye and sad
And
little
it looks
ears.
so sad.
Because it's Flibblethip's dad.
Searching the city for Fibblethip felt like sifting the rain for a single drop of blood. Oh, poor buddy.
He's lost. He's totally lost.
Aw.
So Pop's coming to find you.
Pop.
And hopefully we'll get a card that's like Happy Reunion or something like that.
Aw. That would be so nice.
When they reprint Cathartic Reunion or something.
Cathartic Reunion.
It could happen. Reprinted as blue.
Fibblethip and his dad.
Somebody should alter that. That would be a good alter.
Someone please alter it.
Oh, to be instead of... I would love that so much.
I love it a lot. So you were talking about flavor text.
Yes.
This one is some really creepy flavor text.
Which one?
Grasping
Oh,
Thrall.
yeah, it's great.
3 white black for 3/3 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. Det do. The thrall's screeching makes children flinch and debtors quail. Det do.
I love it. That's really, really good.
It's so good.
That one might be my favorite. There's so many good ones, but
There really
you can
is.
just really feel the flavor of that, of the birds screeching overhead. Det do.
Well, there's also a Titanic brawl. Whoever wins, the neighborhood loses.
That's good. And also some excellent art. Bankrupt in Blood, Seb McKinnon, as we've said so many times,
Yeah.
non-stop hits.
Non-stop
And
hits.
they just keep
This
rolling.
one is so spooky.
This art is
some
incredible.
This is some way spooky stuff.
People is like the blood and their souls are coming out of their bodies and turning into coins.
And going into this guy's cup.
1 and a black, by the way, is a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast it, sacrifice 2 creatures, draw 3 cards.
Wow.
That is...
Ouch.
Play that in Orzhov, I guess.
Yeah. People are very excited about this card. Frilled Mystic.
Ooh, yes.
Green, blue. I love this cycle, by the way. I felt like there's been so many great cards in this cycle.
There have been.
Elf Lizard Wizard.
Great.
3/2 flash. When it enters the battlefield, you may counter target spell.
Mystic Snake.
Yeah. Pretty sick stuff.
I love it.
Basilica Bellhaunt is the Orzhov one. The white, black. Creature spirit. 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card and you gain 3 life.
Siege Rhino. Siege Flyno.
Yeah, except it's not a freaking 4/5.
That's true. That is true. I was very excited by the return of one of the cutest cards in the set, in Cry of the Canarium, 1 black. What was the card's name? Sire of Insanity. He's back in the art for this card, which is a sorcery that gives all creatures -2/-2 until end of turn. Then you exile all creature cards in all graveyards that were put there from the battlefield this turn. If they would die this turn, exile them instead. I don't really know what the deal with that is, but
Well, I mean, I think
there's been a lot of graveyard
if a creature
exiling.
would die this turn, exile it instead, and that will mean that no one's afterlife will trigger.
Okay, sure. Okay, that makes sense. But I'm
Excuse me.
bless. I'm very excited to have Siren Sanity back because he remains cute in this card, just kind of screaming into the void. Last time we saw him, he was dipping somebody into his little cauldron.
That's right, which you found to be very cute.
It's so cute.
People are also very excited about Prime Speaker Vanifar.
I just look at this and I just want it to be Prime Speaker Jennifer.
Which is what her name is now. Prime Speaker Jennifer.
Okay, great.
2 green, blue for a 2/4 Elf Ooze Wizard.
Okay, now we're getting out of control. I'm an what kind of wizard are you?
Oh, I'm an Ooze Wizard.
Oh, okay. That's me slowly backing away.
At least she leads with elf. Like, oh, what are you? I'm an elf. Ooze Wizard.
Great.
Cool. But tap, sacrifice another creature, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield and shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery.
So, Megan, what does this card remind you of?
Obviously, this reminds people of Birthing Pod.
Birthing Pod.
And a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, will they ban this? Since they did ban Birthing Pod
Yes.
all those millennia ago.
Yeah, millennia ago.
It was 2 billion years ago when Wizards of the Coast banned Birthing Pod. But this obviously has one very important difference, which is that it is a creature, which means that you cannot use it the turn that it comes into play. So Birthing Pod, also 4 mana, you could just... Also, I think it had a Phyrexian mana in it,
Yeah,
so you could cast it for cheaper.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it comes down on 4, but you do have to wait a turn, so they have a chance to get rid of it. They have a chance to react, maybe kill the creature that you were going to try and sacrifice.
And it's green-blue, which
yes.
is a little bit of a hamper as well.
Exactly. So while this is obviously a super cool ability, and I cannot wait to see what happens with this.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't think people have to worry about that particular element.
There's another card that for me is calls back one of my favorite cards, which is Craterhoof Behemoth.
Yes.
And raise Forerunners for 5. Green. It's a 7/7/4. Vigilance, trample, and haste.
Dang.
Get hoofed! When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance and trample until end of turn. I love it!
Nice. Look at these pigs. Also, Ravnica. Ravnica is a plane that's just a city.
Yeah.
Where did these pigs come from?
There's a forest part.
It's a city.
Where does Gruul hang out?
Like in the city, because it's all a city. It's all a
Maybe
city.
they come from the Central Park area that's just gotten out of control.
So they do have like a park, and these pigs are just. Can you imagine just like going down to the park and all of a sudden there's a giant
wild
boar?
pigs.
Yeah.
I'd be into it. Can we talk quickly about Rakdos the Showstopper?
Yes.
Because this card is very silly. 4 red-black for a 6/6 demon mythic flying trample. Of course, because I guess that's just what happens with flyers these days. When it enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp. Destroy each creature whose coin comes up tails.
So you're going to be flipping a lot of coins.
I'm excited for this on Arena because I think the animation will be pretty cool.
Me too. I hope so.
Yeah.
There's also, look at this. I love this art on Ravager Worm. It's gonna eat a poor little griffin. It's going to chomp him.
It's going to chomp him right up.
Also very, very cute art that we saw yesterday. Where did this gentleman go? Oh, here we go. Galloping Lizrog.
It's great.
A frog lizard. Great. I'm just enjoying all of the Simic stuff that's going on.
Yeah, Simic's got some really cool stuff happening.
Yes.
I mean, who wouldn't want a galloping Lizrod?
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to point out, back when we first saw the Rakdos ability, what's it called again? Spectacle, thank you. We anticipated, because at first we only saw ones where it was more expensive, but you also got an effect. But there are also spectacle cards where it's just cheaper.
Yeah.
It's the same card, no extra ability, but it's just a cheaper card, which is pretty nice.
We have a new Planeswalker to talk about too.
That's true, we do.
Domri Raid, how do you say it?
Domri.
Who cares? He doesn't have a last name in this one.
Exactly. Domri Chaos Bringer. This seems very good for creature decks.
Yeah, 2 red green for a 5 loyalty planeswalker, which is quite high. You can +1 and add green or red. The mana, you can use that mana to spend on a creature spell. It gains Riot, which we know you can choose between haste and a +1/+1 counter. -3, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 creature cards from among them and put them into your hand. -8, the ultimate, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of each end step, create a 4/4 red and green beast creature token with trample. So now this raises questions in my mind of Gruul and Standard playing a heavy creature deck with Domri Chaosbringer, and then just trying to shut down control with cards like Gruul Spellbreaker, which gives you hexproof on your turn, and another creature, there's an enchantment, I think, that gives your creatures can't be countered or something like that. But it could happen. I don't know. It's been a while since I've thought about like a Gruul creature deck in Standard.
Yeah, Gruul creatures has not been a thing.
No. Not in my lifetime.
I'm trying to remember.
Since I've cared about Standard.
I think there was like a big green deck that splashed red for Domri back when the first one was around.
And that Domri was really good, if I remember.
That one was the 3 mana. You could find creatures or fight with it.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's also... Maria, we had that card, which was for you and your creatures.
Yes.
And now we have, for me, and my wish for them all to go away, Kaya's Wrath. White, black, sorcery. Destroy all creatures. You gain life equal to the number of creatures you controlled that were destroyed this way.
Wow. This is a 4-mana Wrath.
I love it.
By the way, which is how much the most iconic Wraths cost, like Wrath of God.
Yes.
This casting cost is much
Verdict.
harder. Supreme Verdict, white, black, but 4-mana Wrath.
Good day, everyone.
Megan's gone to play Orzhov in Standard.
Do you know what? I'll play Orzhov Control.
Absolutely.
All day.
You played black-white control before.
Yeah, let's do it.
So how do you deal with like lack of card advantage? I guess we'll find out.
Because there is, to be fair, back in those days, there was Read the Bones, which was a very good card draw spell.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. But if you look around, you can still find it.
You could.
It's harder to come by, but you can still get it.
What about Bankrupt in Blood? I mean, are you going to have 2 creatures to sacrifice? Maybe from your afterlife.
No, why?
Maybe you destroy everything and then you get spirits.
Maybe.
And then you draw 3 cards.
Maybe.
Think about that.
Maybe.
All right, we just made you standard deck. Go enjoy. I quickly want to mention Theater of Horrors.
Yes.
Has another cool Rakdos card. It's a rare, an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, exile the top card of your library. Of your upkeep, excuse me. I just made that up. Beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. During your turn, if an opponent lost life this turn, so this is kind of a spectacle thing, you may play cards exiled with Theater of Horrors. By the way, not only ones exiled this turn, but that have been exiled anytime. 3 in a red, it deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker.
Nice.
Cool.
Very cool.
I like it.
That's a great card.
It is really good.
Yeah.
And pretty fun too. And the ping ability on it just sends it over the top for me.
Yeah.
I think that's really neat.
Yeah, real nice. Going back to all of our 4-mana guild creatures, we have this Sphinx, which is the Azorius one, which is white, blue. For a 4/3 flying vigilance, spells your opponent's cast that targets the Sphinx cost 2 more to cast.
Wow.
Oh, I love it.
That's cool.
I really like this cycle.
It's great.
I've really enjoyed it.
And we've made that cycle has made inroads into modern Crackling Drake in those decks and stuff now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gosh, all these cards are so cool. I think they've just hit it out of the park so far. I don't know how it's going to play, but I love all of these previews.
Same.
Hackrobat is the name of a card.
Hackrobat is so good.
Great name.
Also, I love that Scryfall, if they do not know the exact translation of the name, will just put in whatever they think.
Yeah, I love it.
Not whatever they think. They'll just
Whatever
name it.
Could be.
Space Jockey. Is the name of the Vidalcan wizard, the 1 green blue that taps to add blue green.
Somebody mentioned, I saw that if you play this and you've got like a Mana Dork, you can play Carnage Tyrant on turn 3.
Gross.
Which, I like creatures. I am not for that. That is oppressive.
That is dumb.
That is just too much for me.
Dumbest. Anyways, obviously so much stuff happening.
Yeah.
I love it all. I'm very excited for this upcoming set.
Yeah, and a lot of these cards, implications, as we said, in other formats, like Modern, that we're going to talk about in a minute, but also getting me very excited to brew for Standard, not to mention Limited, the pre-release coming up.
Ooh.
Next week is our Judge Rob episode.
Wow, already.
To get us prepped for the pre-release, but also on the 16th, I believe it is, we're going to be streaming, thanks to Wizards of the Coast for giving us an account that's loaded with all of the cards from Ravnica Allegiance. And we're going to get to brew on Arena and play in Standard or Limited maybe. I don't know how exactly it's going to be set up. But from starting early that morning until the end of the day,
nice,
before anybody else, a special streamer event. So I think you should go follow us on twitch.tv/GLHFMagic because we're going to make some sick brews.
Yeah, we are.
And see if we can take down Standard before anybody else has a chance to.
Hop on over there.
Yeah, hop on over there. That's the 16th, and we'll start streaming in the morning because I can't wait. I can't wait. Let's talk about Modern.
That's right. It happened. We already had a fight about it.
We did.
I'm just saying, you don't get to choose which kind of decks you don't like and then only call for those to be banned when they're doing well.
What if I said also, we're also banning, what's it called? Ether Vial.
Oh, well then. Now we're talking, team.
But before we even start talking about some of the Oakland stuff that we saw, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What do you think of the modern format's lifespan? We have a significant amount of modern events coming up in 2019.
Yes.
But it's not supported on Arena, and
Yes.
Arena's going to start, we assume, we don't know this for a fact, its own modern format that I'm going to nickname Postmodern.
They're calling it Eternal.
Eternal?
Yeah.
Oh, do we know that already?
Someone was saying that.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
I'm wrong, but
Okay.
I thought that's what they said.
Well, because once there's a rotation, your old cards on Arena are worthless unless there's
Yes.
an old format because you can't dust or anything. So maybe that becomes the new modern. I don't know
Yeah.
what. Or maybe people stop caring about modern and they
Yeah.
only want to play this one. What do you think?
I think that people will, right? Legacy isn't a huge deal in the world, but there's still people who love Legacy.
Yes.
And who still make a point to play it all the time. So I think that Modern will probably always have people who play it. I
Yeah.
will always have my Modern decks that I love and
Yep.
that I want to play. And there are, stores whose FNMs include Modern events or stores who have a regular Modern event on another night of the week. And I think that those will always exist because there are, a significant chunk of people who that's the way that they love to play.
And they've got a deck and they're dedicated to it and they know it
Exactly.
inside and out. Yeah, I agree.
And I'm not
think-
going to try to take it away from them with any bans that are just too early. So any preemptive bans.
So I do think that it will, like, as you alluded to, it kind of start to turn into more of a legacy situation.
Yeah.
Happening as it's not supported on Arena and more people play Arena over Magic Online. But like I said, I don't think it's going to die.
Exactly. While we might not see as many new players who are getting into the game with Arena play, I do think that it's like, that doesn't mean that just because we're now playing on
Yeah.
Arena all the time, I still think about Modern. I still want to play Modern. I still love it and have my deck. And I foresee myself playing Modern events in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it's still legit. Maybe it won't be as prolific, but it will definitely still be there.
I'm excited for the format that Arena spawns.
Yeah.
I think it'll be kind
Me
of
too.
cool to be at the birth of a new format. As weird or horrible as it may
Yeah.
end up being, we don't know.
We're still also pushing for Singleton
great.
to be there all the time.
Yes, please make Singleton available 24/7.
All the time.
It's my favorite
We
format. I love it.
We love it.
I love it, and I love it more than Brawl.
Look, we're also trying to pitch. We believe that we want to have our own featured
Oh yeah,
one.
Yeah.
We're telling you about it now so that you can help us push for it.
great. We'll have
It
it.
involves Singleton.
Oh yes. But here's a deck that I want to talk about from Grand Prix Oakland that I thought was really cool. It's not entirely new innovation. I did find versions of it online. But it was from David Jovino. And it was basically using this card, Avatar of Might, which cost 1,000,000 mana, unless your opponent has more, I can't remember how many more creatures than you or something, then in which case it costs 2 mana. It has Trample. So it's a giant trampler. Let me just pull it up here. It's like from 10th edition. So if you don't know what it is, don't worry. Yeah, if opponent controls at least 4 more creatures than you, it costs 6 less to play. So it costs 8 mana. It's an 8/8 trampler.
Yes. So when it costs 6 less, it will just cost green.
Yeah, green, 2 mana. And there are other cards similar to this that give you a really awesome creature in exchange for your opponent having more creatures in play or something like that, or giving them creatures to block it.
Okay.
In the case of Hunted Phantasm is one of these. And I can't remember the other one, but it gives your opponent goblins and you get a sweet creature. But anyway, the way that this is working out for you is you're using the card Forbidden Orchard. You remember this card.
I know Forbidden Orchard. It gives your opponent a spirit.
Yeah, when you tap it, it taps for any color, but your opponent gets a spirit. And so you're like, how does that work out for me? Well, this deck runs 3 Ghostly Prison, which makes your opponent pay 2 to attack with their creatures. So it's going to lock them down a little bit that way.
This deck is already so weird.
It's very weird. It has 4 copies of Trespasser's Curse. You remember that card?
No.
That card is from Amonkhet, I want to say. And every time a creature enters the battlefield under your opponent's control, or, you're cursed, you take 1, and I gain 1.
Oh, yep, I see it.
You remember, it was terrible. Some people played it in draft, and you're like,
black.
I guess I win. It's got, cards to sculpt the hand, like Serum Visions and Sleight of Hand, Stubborn Denial, and Swan Song to stop things from your opponent's doing what your opponent's trying to do. And then, most importantly, it has 4 copies of Amulet of Safekeeping, which you can also play Dampening Pulse, which is kind of the same effect, which I saw in another list online. But Amulet of Safekeeping is not too old, but it's an artifact. Whenever you become the target of a spell or ability, blah, 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 counter unless it's a controller pays 1. The bottom ability is creature tokens get -1/-0.
We previewed this in M19.
This was our preview card?
Yes.
Was it really?
Yes.
Wow, I don't remember that.
Well then.
Weird. My brain is like, make room for new things, I guess. But yeah, so you're shrinking down all of those spirits you're giving your opponent. You're making them pay to attack you. And then you're getting like giant 8/8 tramplers, like a 4/5 flyer for no mana, something else that's giant and huge, and you just attack and win.
I love it. It's so weird.
Yeah, I saw this list and I was just like, wait a second.
Yeah.
This is so cool. And we saw it on camera, so you can go back and watch. But unfortunately, can you guess the problem that our friend David Yovino ran into with this deck?
It dies to removal.
Well, that's true. But it was playing the card, Forbidden Orchard, giving your opponent spirits.
Yeah.
He was playing against spirits.
Oh.
Which is...
That's pretty hilarious.
Unfortunate.
That's really funny. Yeah, your little rattle chains comes in and is like, you get to be big now.
Yeah, Supreme Phantom's like, ooh, you're giving me a 1/1?
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Now I have a
Supreme
2/2.
Phantom.
And your Amulet of Safekeeping is just shrinking it down to normal size, I guess.
Oh, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it was very funny. But also, we did see this deck do its thing. It had 3 Ghostly Prisons in play at some point. And the opponent was like, yeah, I can't win. It was very cool. So I am excited to try and build with this deck and just play some silly stuff.
My goodness.
With it. I'm not sure how much it would cost, but I want to try it out on Magic Online because it's so dumb and so great. I love when decks have like this really cool way that they win the game, even if it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention this deck. Big props to David. This deck is pretty cool. But as you mentioned, yeah, KCI 4 copies in the top 8. We saw a lot of burn this past weekend as well,
and yet no one's calling for it to be banned.
So far, no. Well, I don't know about no one, but people hate it generally. But it was doing well this weekend to burn, kind of one of those decks that ebbs and flows in the format. Those were kind of the main ones. Is it Phoenix proving itself to be worth its weight and not just a flash in the pan? I do think it'll be around in Modern. It seemed very strong. There was a turn I saw it play. It pitched 3 Arclight Phoenixes, managed to flip its Awoken Horror and attack with the Awoken Horror and 3 Arclight Phoenixes in one turn.
Nice.
That was pretty sick.
I like it.
Yeah, so it has really explosive power, but it can also fizzle as well. So fun to watch.
That's the trade-off.
Definite fun to watch. And Titan Shift showing up, Megan.
Yeah, I like Titan Shift.
It's a cool
deck.
deck.
As we know.
Yeah.
As we know.
It's about 1 turn slower to go off than
lands.
our friend KCI, so it kind of is a little bit of a dog in that fight, but it can win.
I have to say that I've the last time that I played it online, I played against KCI, and what I found was that basically you do always lose game 1.
Yeah.
But at least the version that I was playing had enough, like, you just have to have enough graveyard hate to save yourself for a turn or 2. And in that case, I was usually winning games 2 and 3 because exactly, it's like, oh, I can kill. What's the one that I'm thinking of that kills artifacts?
I think I'm Ancient Grudge.
Yes. So it's like, oh, I can Ancient Grudge, flash it back. Okay, I killed 2 things. That's enough for me to now kill you.
To have a turn. Yeah.
So
yeah, I think Titan Shift is a cool deck too. Reed really likes it.
I love Titan Shift. It's a great deck.
One of those other decks that wins with a really neat kind of behind the
get all your lands.
Wait.
Get your lands.
Get your lands here.
Yep.
Get your lands here. Titan Shift. Boggles can never beat a Titan Shift. And we saw Boggles play one time.
Oh, nice.
Boggles player went undefeated into day 2.
Ooh.
The Bogley boys, but nobody made the top 8.
Wow.
But Nice to see those boys fighting the good slippery fight. But yeah,
Weird.
That was basically the story of Modern. We talked about it so much up front, but a fun tournament, a lot of deck diversity other than, what we saw reflected in the top 8. Overall, there's a ton of different stuff.
Yeah.
Corey Burkhart was there playing Grixis Control because, that's the Corey Burkhart way. Always Grixis Control no matter what, which was cool to see. And Blue-White Control making it all the way to the big show. I think very good choice for Modern if you're a control player right now.
There you go.
There you go.
Hey everyone, quick arena check-in.
Yes.
Momir is up right now, and I love it.
Tell me more.
So Momir is a format that was also on Magic Online.
Yeah.
And in that, it was like the history of Magic creatures. You have this little Momir Vig avatar, and you tap a number of lands, and you activate the avatar, and you discard a card. And you can only do this once a turn, on your turn. And you get any creature at all that has a converted mana cost equal to X, where X is the number of lands that you tapped for it.
From the history
amount of mana
of
that you paid
Magic.
for it. Yes.
It's great.
Arena is just standard Momir.
Yeah.
But it is still so much fun. And also, as someone who has now played a lot of it, if you ever played the old Momir, it was usually, if you're on the draw, maybe you make a turn 2. And then if you're on the play, it's a turn 3. It's one lower in this format, is my opinion.
What do you think you should do?
If you are on the draw, you make a turn 1.
Whoa. Why do you think just because you're trying to push through more damage before their 7-drop can matter?
Exactly. Like, I found that the early part of the race was actually meaningful.
Yeah. I can
that's how
actually
you got
see
an
that.
edge, because by the time, sure, people are playing really big things at 7, but you can still make a 7 if you're doing that.
Yeah.
You don't need to get to 8. If you're on the play, you'll start with a 2 and not with a 1.
Okay.
So if you're on the play, you start with a 2. And that early part of the race does matter. Like, having board presence does matter in this more than it did in the other Momir on Magic Online. So those are my hot tips.
Hot take.
I did very well in all the events that we played with it.
You know what? Now that you say that, because I had played the previous Momir that came up, and I didn't make anything sometimes till turn 4 because I was just like waiting for, or turn 3, because every 4-drop for sure outclasses everything before it. But and then I was playing the 8-drop lottery for Zakama and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then just smashing. But
the 7s are all good enough, though, is the thing. If you start at 1 on the draw or 2 on the play, you can still get to 7. And if you're just jamming 7s the whole time, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, I actually think you're right, because if you're being greedy, your life total is already going to be too low.
Exactly.
Maybe by the time that you.
And what you need is the life total flexibility to be able to optimally use your big cards. Because I had opponents who would just get to those and they wouldn't be able to attack me because they were scared of dying on the crackback.
Right. That's a
and
good
it's because
point.
I had started earlier than them.
You know what we want to do, though?
Go.
We want to do a challenge.
Yes. We're going to do the Bells and Lottery.
Which you might know if you're fans of Loading Ready Run, they have the Flottery, which is the way that you play on Magic Online with Momir, which is at 7. You're going for, what's it called? Phage, yeah. Which you lose the game.
Phage the Untouchable, I think.
If you lose the game
cast it
in Momir. So
okay, so this is in this one.
Bells and Lottery.
There's Demon Lord Bells and Lock.
Yeah.
Legendary creature Elder Demon at 6 mana. When Demon Lord Bells and Lock enters the battlefield, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card, then put that card into your hand. If the card's converted mana cost is 4 or greater, repeat this process. It deals 1 damage to you for each card put into your hand this way.
So
you just exile your whole library.
yeah, your library's gone.
You exiled your entire library.
It's gone.
Goodbye.
And you're dead the next turn.
Good day. So there you go. So we want to play the Bells and Lottery where we don't play anything up until 6, and then we just both play 6s.
Yeah, and just see what happens.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. So maybe we'll do that on stream this week.
Anyways, I highly recommend the Momir. It's 100 gems or 500 gold. And it's so fun.
Yeah, I can't wait till the card pool continues to grow on Magic Arena to make it even better.
Yes, and FYI, right now it is only standard, so it doesn't even go back through and Ket or other stuff.
So you'll know all the cards too. By the way, no reading. And right now there is the Pandemonium up on Arena, which is kind of, I guess they were trying to do a Hearthstone-y thing where your creatures damage other creatures when they enter the battlefield based on their power. I played this 2 times, I think, and I was just like, I brought my dinosaur deck because that makes sense because of the enraged triggers. And it turned out that's what everybody else brought too, because it's not that hard of a nut to crack. And so it's just like, and we just raced a Carnage Tyrant, and it was like, oh, okay.
Well, there you go.
A little disappointing. Carnage Tyrant, maybe that's what we should call for a ban. And I like Hexproof.
Carnage Tyrant.
But I like Hexproof on small creatures because I don't want to be super unfair anyway.
It's fine, right? Because look, even I, who hates Carnage Tyrant and creatures, can look at it and be like, if some people, that's what they want to do. And it does die to some stuff. Like
we banned it from our singleton format.
That's true, we did. That's just because it was so bad. It was like when you're just playing one person again and again, and it's just like you get to 6 and play Carnage Tyrant, it's like, well, this is not a game.
Well, we're done here.
All right.
But yeah, tons of fun stuff to check out on Arena right now. We're just biding our time till Singleton comes.
Hey everybody, Ultra Pro, the place to go for things that you know you need. The last part was not a rhyme. I tried.
It was pretty good though.
Yeah. It was nearly there. 3 out of 4.
Ain't bad. Yeah. Did you not get what you wanted for the holidays? Guess what? Buy yourself a present.
Get it for yourself.
Treat yourself.
You're an adult. And if you're not an adult and you're a kid, well, do you know what? You'll be able to get it for yourself someday, kid.
One day.
Okay? One of these days.
One of the benefits to being an adult is you can buy yourself a present.
Yes. Also, save your allowance. Allowances are a thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you know what? I forget all the time that those were a thing.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I still give myself an allowance.
Wow.
Just
kidding.
you go. But I do think about it. I guess it's kind of like that. Anyway, Ultra Pro, they're the home to all your awesome Magic accessories that you could possibly need for the game.
That's right. Dice, relic tokens, binders.
Yes. Of all kinds, by the way. If you want a super fancy binder, if you want just kind of a normal binder.
A nice little tiny binder because you don't carry that big of a bag.
Oh, those are great. Ultra Pro. Yeah, they've got excellent deck boxes of all different kinds. Gravity dice are something people ask me about, just basically guaranteed if I go and play a tournament and I use them.
They're so nice.
So go check them out, ultrapro.com. They're a supporter of the show, so go on and support them.
That's our show, peeps.
Yeah, the sun is shining, as you can see here in our studio, and that means it's time to wrap up because we're vampires and we've got to go back to our coffins. Time to tuck in. Nighty night, or should I say morny morny.
Mine is actually that I'm a tree and I need to go stand out in the sun.
You need to go feed.
I'm actually a tree.
What kind of tree are you?
Oh, great question. I think that I'm just like a standard old oak.
You can be any tree.
I know, but like
maybe
at the end of the day,
be an oak.
Sometimes you're just an oak tree. Maybe I'm a pecan tree.
Ooh,
I really like pecans.
Delicious.
And there are a lot of them in San Antonio.
You told me a story about going down the street and picking up pecans.
Yeah, we would just gather pecans
Unbelievable.
all fall. I remember we had like multiple paper bags, like grocery store paper bags full of pecans.
Wow, that sounds like a fairyland.
It was great.
You can make a pecan pie out of Meghan. Think about that.
Oh, weird.
I'm a poplar.
That's a really nice tree.
I think they're cute with their little circle leaves that go in the wind. Anyway,
what kind of tree are you? Tweet at us with the hashtag I'm a tree.
Or what about the hashtag me tree?
Yeah.
Thank you for everybody who hashtag polite opinion with us for our Crimby episode.
Yes.
Great polite opinions.
Oh, and also everyone who hashtagged iZendikar.
Oh,
multiple people played Zendikar last year.
We got 2 people who confirmed played Zendikar last year and 1 who's playing it this year.
Yes.
Wow, I did not.
Look at them going out there and playing.
I did not know that would happen. So that was
neither.
really cool. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Thank you to everybody who supports us on patreon.com/GLHFMagic. Help us start the new year off right by becoming a member. You get access to our Discord channel and more. I'm gonna die. Save me from dying. More great benefits throughout the year coming your way on Patreon. Any level, even $1 a month, means so much to us. The dollar amount honestly doesn't matter. What matters is that you're actually going and supporting us. That's what's most important. So thank you, and please consider it.
All right. Go, whether you're a vampire or a tree, go forth and enjoy the time that you spend in the world, whether that's daytime or nighttime.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying.
Or afternoon even.
Or afternoon.
I wish there was a mystical creature that the afternoon was their thing.